one of my mentors who's gone to be with the Lord now, wise old sage, the Reverend A.G. Thomas. He wasn't a little bit over 5'3" or 5'4", but he looked like a giant when he stood in the pulpit, because he preached with such power and such passion, with such energy. And I was just entering into the ministry. He sort of took me under his wings. And anytime I was preaching somewhere, he would call me to come to pick him up so he could go along with me and listen, so he could critique my sermon as we were driving back. And I remember A.G. told me one time, he said, "Watch, there's something you're going to learn in this life, if you haven't learned it already, and you're going to certainly learn it in the ministry and as a pastor." And I said, "What's that, Reverend?" He says, "Nobody would treat you like kinfolk and like church folk." He said, "Those are two groups of folk you just can't live without, kinfolk and church folk." He said, "Kinfolk will love you, they will sacrifice you, for you they will serve you, and then they will almost kill you." That's just the nature of kinfolk. He says, because there's something about the kinfolk, you live in so much close proximity to kinfolk that you all learn about what gets on each other's nerves. And you learn how to push those buttons when you really want to send them over the edge. Nothing like, he says, kinfolk, nothing like church folk. He said, because church folks are just an extension of the kinfolk.
Amen.
And some 40 years later, after being in the ministry, I found Reverend Thomas to be correct. Nobody like kinfolk and like church folk. You can't live with them, and you can't live without them. And you just kind of stuck with them. By the grace of God, you keep praying for them. And can hope and praying that God can help you just to enjoy each other, because the greatest gift that we have to offer to each other is ourselves. That's the greatest gift that we have to offer to somebody, is who we are, what God has enabled us to become, what God has forged out of this clay that we call our body, what God has allowed to be deposited inside of us. And each and every one of you here this morning, you have value, you have worth, you are as rare as a snowflake, as precious as the crown jewel. You have value, and you have something to offer. You have something to offer. And there are people that need what you have to offer. And so don't be selfish. Don't hold it to yourself. Give yourself away into the lives of those people you love the most. Well, the story never grows old. And almost all of my memories about Christmas, all 70 of them that I can remember,